Hello, I'm going to show you how to move an inspiration map from an inspiration file into Google Documents. So here I am at my inspiration map and I'm looking through it and thinking to myself, I'd like other people to see this map too, but because I have all these nice little, these nice notes that pop up, and that one pops up down there, which it shouldn't, but that's all right. Um, and hyperlinks and everything, I'd like other people to see this. However, because this is only an ISF document, it can only be opened by the Inspiration program. So what we're going to do is we're going to export this document or this concept map into a couple different formats, and then we're going to upload those into Google Documents. So the first thing we need to do is export it into, we're going to go to File and go down to Export, and then we're going to export it to a Word document. And what you might notice is that if it gives a little dummy document, a little sample of what you might download. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take off the diagram. Now you could keep it on there. However, what this does is it creates a really huge Word document it takes a long time to download if somebody were to download this. And we're worried about the end user at this point. So what we want to do is take away the diagram, and then maybe you want to add the indentations. It kind of looks nicer. However, some of the formatting might be lost between transferring it to a Word document and then getting it into Google Docs. So after you get this all set up as such, so everything's all clicked, so that you see your notes and then all the hyperlinks will transfer as well, you click Save. And what that does is it pops up another little box up here, and you're able to give it a title and save it as a Word document. Now I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again. And the next thing you want to do is export, and at the top we have PowerPoint slides or web pages. We're going to go to Graphics File, and what we want to do here is either choose a GIF or a JPEG, and either one is fine. So whichever one you choose, you do the same process for that you did for the Word document. You hit Save, and the little save menu or save box will come up, and you'll have to give it a title and then save it to where you want it so you can find it later. Alright, we're going to cancel that because I already have this going. Alright, I'm done now with inspiration, so I'm going to close this up. I don't want to save my changes. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do here is take the documents that we already have. And what we have here, this is the outline that came through. And as you can see, some of the formatting was lost, but that's alright. We can fix that later when we actually get it to Google Documents. But you notice that this is blue, and that generally means a hyperlink's there. And as you can see, my word processor recognizes that that's a hyperlink. And then underneath the first subheading here, under the milk was added to the drink by the Viennese, it has my note. So your notes and your hyperlinks are still intact when you export the concept map into a outline. Now the next piece that we want to check out is our picture, and mine is right down here, and it looks like so, and it's actually pretty big, but right now I have it set to display smaller, so it is there, and it's a little blurry right now, but we'll fix that in just a second here. Alright, so we're going to close that. And now the next piece that we have here is you log into Google Documents, and I'm already there. So what we're going to do first is we're going to upload. So what you can do here is browse for your document that you want to upload. And as I'm sure many of you might have experimented with this before, but if not, this is a way that you can figure it out. So I clicked on my inspiration document. It's in there. I'm going to open it up. If you notice over here, you could actually call it something different than your name .inspiration. So I'm going to call this coffee map, because really the only people that are going to see this title is really you. So I'm calling it coffee map, and then I'm going to choose to upload the file. If you notice over here on the document, the documents have a limit to how big they can be, and that's the reason why we didn't choose to have the picture when we exported it as a Word document because it's too big to put onto Google Documents for Google Documents to host this outline, this concept map as a web page. So we're going to upload this file, and it figures it out, and then it brings it in. And as you can see, it's just the document. It does need to have some formatting done. So what you can do is you can just tab over, make sure every piece lines up, like you have your main headings under your Roman numerals, and then your subheadings are brought under that. And then what you could do is you could actually you could bring your notes a little closer to the actual subheading itself, and you just go through it. And it does take a little bit to get this all going, and you can do a little bit of that faster with these tools up here. So, but what we want to do is add our picture to it. So you click down and add like a space or two above the top line of your title, and then what we're going to do is use the insert option up here. We're going to insert a picture, and it grays out everything except for this blue box, insert picture, and you can choose to either do it from your computer or from the web, and we're going to do it from the computer. And you're going to upload your picture, and then it puts it in there. And then you want to click on the more image options, and down here you want to maybe have the picture, the image that you're doing, fill the width of the page, and that gives a nice graphic for your outline. So basically, your concept map will fill the whole page before your outline starts, and that's kind of nice. So, and then choose it centered. I do that anyway. You could also choose this to click the image so that it links to the original image file, and I'm going to do that, but you don't have to. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just kind of nice. So then you choose insert, and it works a little bit, and it brings it, and there it is. So right above my coffee right above my coffee concept map outline is the actual concept map. They can see what the visual representation of your outline actually is. So this is how to move a inspiration mind map into Google Documents using export files for the Word document and exporting it into a JPEG. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know and send me an email, and I hope this works out for you.